If you're somebody who is stuck with chronic illness like Lyme disease, mold toxicity, mast cell activation, autoimmune, chronic fatigue, any of those sort of things, I want to share with you a very um, triggering question that changed the whole course of my life when I was sick and actually led to me getting well. A word of warning, it is a triggering question. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Kat. I'm the founder and CEO of the Primal Trust Academy and Community, where we help people regulate their nervous systems so that they can heal. Anyway, the question is this. So close your eyes. And what is the first thing that comes to you when I say, if you didn't care what anyone thought, or if you didn't care how this would affect anyone in your life, how would you be living your life differently? If there was no consequences, if there was no, you might hurt somebody, you might make someone mad, you might upset somebody, how would you be living your life differently? That question, when I was brutally honest with myself, and I recommend, be brutally honest. What's the first thing that comes up? Don't try to talk yourself out of it or distract from it. What came up? And it might even shock you. Well, it shocked me. And it was an answer that I knew would destroy my family. It would destroy my marriage. It would destroy my relationships, because the first thing that came up for me was that I would leave the religion I was in. And when that came up, I was like, oh my gosh, like this would change everything. It was a very tight-knit situation. You don't just leave. And when I knew that that was my truth and I acknowledged it, I felt so much rage in my system. I kid you not. So much rage. And I knew that that was a big part of why I was so sick. I was suppressing anger. And that was one of the turning points for me to recognize how I had been suppressing anger in so many other ways and living out of alignment. And our symptoms are just messengers. They're messengers um, of distracting us from things that we're actually really afraid of, which is emotions, trauma, things that we don't want to face, beliefs, things like that. And I had to start to slowly over time admit the truth. And in doing so, I started to get my life force back. Truly, the moment that I decided to step away from that religion, it was like chronic fatigue left overnight. I mean, I still had a healing journey to go on, but my brain state shifted and it allowed something to run through my body that hadn't run through my body in over a decade. So this question is very important, and I recommend that if any of you are struggling with chronic illness, to sit, to journal, to ask yourself these tough, brutally honest questions. Maybe the question is, if I wasn't afraid what anyone would think, what would I say? What would I do differently? What boundary would I have that I don't have right now? If I didn't care what people thought, what would I have done with my life differently? A lot of times the chronic fatigue, for example, it can happen when our life force gets misdirected, meaning you come to a Y in the road, a T in the road, and you take one route because you're supposed to, but your truth was the other way. That can splinter our energy. It literally can affect our mitochondria. And I can go into this in other videos, but that's another truth, a brutal truth. When did you take a right when you wanted to take a left in life? So I will leave you with some of these thoughts. So please drop your comments below. Subscribe to my channel. I bring as much nervous system education as I can and hope on healing. And I'd love to know how this question hit you.